It'd be cool to switch to Keep, but it's a bit annoying having to get people to download a desktop app.
Okay, so it is recording now. So anyone, thanks you two for being here, and anyone watching on YouTube, thanks for checking it out. So this is Bitcoin Design Guide Jam session number 34, our bi-weekly update where we catch up on development on the Bitcoin Design Guide. And this one, it's going to be kind of a nice one, I think. With milestone 16, which I pull up milestone here. We have 11 closed issues and 2 open ones. And one of them is the section landing page, and one of them is a prototype. That means that basically getting the content in shape is done. And that was a pretty major achievement. I think we started it 3 months ago. And we thought it would be pretty quick, just kind of revise copy a little bit, and then we're good. But it turned out way more complex. So maybe we can talk about that. But let's real quick with the prototype. I don't have an update. The designathon ate all my time over the last week and a half or so. But I do hope after the announcement today, I hope I will get to that. I'll definitely get to it in the next couple of weeks. But I don't think it's blocking anything right now. And then Stephen with the section landing page. I think you just, I think it needs a little bit of, where's that pull request? It needs some conflict resolution here. And then otherwise it's just review and merge, right?
Yeah, except I think there's some comments on it. Actually, I haven't looked at this PR in a little bit. Last I looked at it, I was proposing some ways to put some more visuals into the chapters there, and then Bosch said he liked the second one. Okay, this page is great. Yeah, okay, so I just have some comments from you and Bosch.
Yeah.
I just need to add those images into the actual code, and then get it merged.
Yeah, and 3/4 of my comment are just blabbering about visual stuff, and then the top one is just asking for more cross links, because I think the introduction to the reference design, it's great if it links out to all the relevant pieces. If someone is not familiar with LSPs or self custody or whatnot, they can just go in right at the beginning and catch up on things that they're not familiar with. So that was my only comment there.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with all Christoph's stuff. There's nothing else that I really that pops to mind. It's, pretty fine.
Nice. And then we'll have this wrapped up. You excited?
So we do the prototype.
Yeah, but that's, the prototype's more, it's just kind of manual labor in a way. Everything's been sorted out. It's just putting screens together and some vectors and some clicking interactions, and then it'll be it. I think it's, but all the construction is done. And the last thing that was merged a couple of days ago, I think, was the funding page, right? 2 days ago.
Yeah.
And receiving.
Yeah, so they got rid of the funding page and added the new receiving page, which is a sub-page of requesting. So looks all good, because it wasn't making a lot of sense before that, because there's a lot of overlap in pages with the funding one. So it looks good.
And I'm
pasting
sure
over my stuff.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just pasting over my frame or my slides from that PR to the prototype. Figma. I'll leave a comment where I do it. It just reminded me to do that.
I'm sorry, what were you trying to do with slides from your Figma?
Sorry, I just pasted all the images from the funding page into the prototype Figma file, just so they're sort of ready to just organize them all.
Yep. Okay, cool. So how about we just, I put this, where did I put this talk here? So now that we're kind of at the end of it, how do you feel about this big effort? Was it the time of your lives?
It was good. I definitely think, well, like, I know you mentioned about, like, you kind of hinted towards, like, maybe talking about why it took so long, but I definitely think, because we did the big revision, and then I did that page on the LSPs, and then when we went back and did the revision, that's when we kind of decided we're going to do the LSP kind of focus, which I think resulted in having to change a lot of content. That's why I think it probably took a little bit longer than maybe planned. But
yeah, I think we didn't really understand what we were getting ourselves into. But it's also the first time we're really trying to turn to this pretend real product in full depth.
But it's helpful though, because all the stuff in this board, what it goes to show is that a lot of the topics that were in there before, I don't think were fully thought through.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, and there's still some stuff that is definitely not thought through, because you only feel it once you actually build it and use it. But that's what Daniel's kind of experiencing right now. The actually building stuff, putting the code together, reacting to it, and seeing where things break and whatnot, and what issues you come across.
Yeah, because I know he said he was having some issues or a bit of roadblock with dealing with, like, setting up a Lightning Wallet server and LSP, because originally it was not going to do that, but obviously the design guide kind of daily spending wallet focuses on that a lot, so I think he's having some trouble there.
Yeah, I mean, that's where we're kind of early with this. There are some LSPs, but everybody's kind of cooking up their own soup. And once we have some standards that are accepted and understood and adopted, then LSPs will be much easier to just plug and play. But we're just not there. But yeah, I mean, it still cracks me up how we had this 3-week schedule, and now it turned into a 3-month thing. I feel like sometimes we should be okay to say, well, this did not go out as we planned. Let's change our plan. Let's break it down differently. And maybe I think it'll be easier now to get away from full page rewrites, where we tackle, if we can, now that always be possible, where we just break things down a little bit further so we can more quickly just kind of get on the same page and move on. I mean, it's easier said than done, but I mean, if that's something we can keep an eye on and make happen, I think it'd be good.
Yeah, I was actually, over the next few weeks, maybe later this week, I was going to just go through the whole guide, like one by one page, and just make sure, like, there's good cross-linking and stuff like that, because I'm sure there's heaps of pages where we could do better links, and places where we could add certain topics. But yeah, definitely agree. I don't think we're going to have to do a whole lot of, like, full page reviews. It'll just be a lot of tidying up.
Yeah, and also thank you for working through all of these things. I mean, what's it now? A year now since we started the daily spending wallet Lightning stuff? Probably more.
Well, when we started Lightning, it wasn't even really called the daily spending wallet. It was just add Lightning. That's what it was. And it wasn't even until like earlier this year that we were like, oh, what if we reorganize the guide around this whole idea of reference designs and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think it's been 10 months, because I think we started it when I started my grant, which is 10 months ago. So
even before that, because my first grant just ended last month. So that's when we were kicking off the original conversations, like August of last year.
Yeah, it would have been about a year ago then. Yeah, crazy.
Hope it helps a lot of people. Is there anything else you want to look back at this milestone or at the last few weeks or so, or should we start looking forward? I mean, that was a very quick look back.
No, I can't think of anything.
You're good. Okay,
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, it's just helpful to think about, things that worked really well, things where, individually or as a group we got stuck, things we can do differently, the way we give each other feedback if we're happy with that, if we're anything happy or unhappy with the final output, just all of those things.
I mean, it took a long time, but I really feel like that was just kind of the nature of the beast. It's, it taking a long time was just us kind of miscalculating. That I think it reminded me a lot of like the V1 design guide launch. I mean, it really did feel like we were kind of coming up with a lot of content that wasn't there. So, I mean, um, I, I don't really know. I mean, the fact there's the fact that we missed it, misestimated how long it would take, but I don't really think that you know there was really a way to speed it up significantly. Um, Having said that, maybe we should have gotten on some more like just kind of collaborative calls. The three of us just kind of quickly iterating on stuff in Figma. Um, I think there's some things times where we spent like looking at each other's screens and all the details of the screens, and what we really should have been doing is probably um, just starting with some like kind of rough sketches, not actual components but just like rough sketches, and just laying those all out in Figma and connecting them and stuff like that. We might I mean I don't know, saying we might have been able to move through some discussions quicker if we had just um, done some of the flows like that first before actually trying to, write the pages. But I have no way of verifying that at this point.
Yeah, maybe like we might not necessarily have to get on more calls and stuff, but maybe do a bit better job of like asyncly sharing what we're working on as we're working on it, like so we can get kind of feedback as we're going, rather than I have pretty big PRs, so it's probably a pain in the ass to review, but could do better there probably.
Do you think the switch to having a jam session every 2 weeks instead of 3 weeks, do you think that was helpful?
Yeah, I found that helpful. Like I like that.
Yeah, I liked it as well.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it has. Yeah, I'm not saying it has to be 2 weeks. Forever and ever till the end of time. But I think for a big undertaking like this, it was helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm wondering, something I try to think about, even with something like the sign in with Bitcoin page, where I worked on that one in parallel, basically. But that one I try to just kind of cover very basics. For me, there's always a temptation to go very deep, but I feel like it's more helpful to start with just the really basic stuff, and then at some point iterate and add some more depth, and then do another one, and add more depth, and do another one, and do another one. And I think we did that with the guide overall. Maybe next time, maybe we could have done another step in between. I don't really know, from what we had before to this final iteration, but not really sure. But yeah, maybe that will help us with other things, particularly with things like the merchant section, if you want to tackle one, or completely new stuff, if we tackle Taro or Fediment or something else. Just going from the outside in might be helpful there. Yeah, cool. Do you want to move on to the future, the present? So
Yeah.
what I was thinking, if we want to get back to our 3-week schedule, there's basically 3 weeks from today until the designathon. So there's like one mile. Ooh, BlockFi there, huh? Are you getting sponsored
Whoops.
for that?
My bad.
3 weeks from now to the designathon.
My bad. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
So, anyways, we have 3 weeks till the designathon. And I know, Stephen, you're very busy with TABConf planning. Designathon planning will also be fairly busy. So something to consider is where we don't have a big goal for the next 3 weeks or a milestone. We just pick up a bunch of small stuff.
Agreed.
There are 67 open issues, some just visual stuff, header images, probably some typo stuff, some smaller fixes, and just pick up these little things that we can just get done on the side. And maybe also take the time a little bit to figure out what we want to do next. And then after that, there'll be 12 days of designathon. So we could take the designathon to kind of jumpstart maybe some of the content. So if there's stuff that came up in the surveys or ideas people submit in the launch in the heading up to the designathon, we could use that designathon time to, I don't know, get things started, whatever we want to do. Personal projects, or we join another project if there's interest, something interesting forming. And then that could inform us what we do afterwards. And then we have, merchant section. And then Bosch, you started a savings wallet iteration discussion. And then we have feedback from surveys. Those are also sources of things we could tap into, either right now or after the designathon. Those are my thoughts. What do you think?
Yeah.
I reckon probably keep, like, if you have any other thoughts with those issues that I opened or discussions I opened, feel free to just leave them in there. I think we should start, like, maybe after the designathon we can more seriously address them if we want to, that is.
Which one?
The savings wallet discussion I opened, and
Okay.
or start making a bit of like an action plan for that. Like I personally want to kind of do that, and the guideline stuff, that was just kind of an idea, but yeah, probably need to discuss that a bit more and see where we're going with that. But that was mostly based around the kind of interviews that me and Mo did. So I think once we kind of go through all that info and consolidate it, it'll be a bit easier to kind of clarify that discussion and see exactly like where we want to go with it.
Do you think was there anything in those surveys and interviews that could make for good designathon projects?
Interesting question.
Um,
I've only watched 2 of the videos. Does anything come to mind, Bosch?
You don't have to know off the top of your head, but
I know the guy from Block wanted to like see, like they wanted some more stuff around like how like different variations of collaborative kind of custody would look like. I guess that's what they're doing, like with their wallet, but they were like interested to see like if we had other ways that you could maybe do collaborative custody. So not dealing with seeds and stuff like that, but that was just one idea he brought up because he's like said they're always looking for help in regards to that because it's a pretty difficult problem that's not really solved. That was one.
There was another one from the clown, HAC. He said something about multi-sig transactions, something like this.
Yeah, I think
you would remember this than myself.
What did you say, Sid?
Yeah, he said something about multi-sig transactions, something like that. There wasn't a lot of that in the guide.
Yeah, Clown is working on some of the, similar kind of stuff to, what Block is working on in terms of multi-sig, though his is, I think more of an open source wallet, not like a product, but yeah, they may have different, mechanisms or ways of implementing that, but it's a pretty similar idea of having multiple keys to secure your coins.
Yeah,
I think he actually opened an issue for like dealing with time locks and how like that would be presented to a user and like how you like I guess communicate that to a user and like what it's for and what its benefits would be and what problems does it solve. I think that was one thing he does have an issue up at the moment in the Bitcoin on GitHub. So I'm really tired, by the way. I'm half asleep right now. I tagged that as the savings wallet reference design. So I was like, maybe that's something I could address when I do that. I could look into that a little bit.
There was one more that comes to mind was the multiple transactions, the guy from Fortis. What was it about creating and signing off multiple transactions? He asked it in the general as well, I think.
Yeah, doing batch transactions with multi-sig, which someone else, I think, Jose asked as well when you were talking to him, Christoph. He was asking for some UX advice around how to do that too.
Yeah, that's who I was referring to. Those are very very small UX things, right? Very, very specific things. Maybe there could be a project around the UX hit list or so. There are some there's some ones that are super broad, like the future of Lightning or Taro or something, just really broad. And then there's some that are just very narrow. I'm curious if the designathon's 12 days long, then would you spend 12 days on just UX for signing multi-sig transactions? Seems a bit much. I'm just not sure how you would package that. But the thing is, we should collect all these ideas, and then we can figure out how to bundle them together. And if the HAC, if he wants to just do a whole project around his project, then that'd be cool too. Let's specifically solve his problems.
Yeah, it'd be better to package it as like a user problem or something and present it in that way and say like, you're a business and you pay hundreds of employees around the world using your savings wallet, and it like obviously involves some like multi-sig coordinated kind of thing. So like lay out a problem and then they can dive into that.
Yep. Yeah. So there's one we try to formulate some designathon project. One is our keys, our coins, that was around community context of custody, like Fedimint, that type of stuff. But I don't think that's what we were talking about. We were talking about multi-sig more in a personal context or a small group, not a communal group. But yeah, just generally exploring that space seems to be a lot of interest there. So what did, let's see, if we agree that the next 3 weeks will be more about picking up small stuff, should we just kind of go through the backlog and pick a bunch of stuff and throw it in a milestone?
Yeah, seems reasonable to me. Yeah, I'm going to be obviously very busy with TABConf and also this week here, focusing on getting this Spec 32M site shipped. So yeah, small guide stuff, certainly appreciated.
And for these discussions, we can just continue them. Anything designathon related, we'll have it in designathon, and those discussions can just keep going. If each of us have ideas or want to discuss stuff, and then by the time designathon's over, then we have something in a better shape that we can pick up on. Okay, cool. Then let's milestones. Let's create a new milestone. 17. Tidying up. If it doesn't spark joy, it's all.
I know which book Christoph read. That's a book written by the Japanese woman. What is it called?
Marie Kondo.
Maria Kondo. There we go.
Trying to find issues that spark joy.
Well, and if it doesn't spark joy, resolve it. You get it out of your system.
Yeah.
Move on with life. So, wow, we have a lot of header images here, and I think there are actually a few further down. Should we just chip those in?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I put those up, and I made a post in a couple of the channels, kind of showing those a week or so ago. I figured those would be good first issues for new contributors, so that's why I opened them all as individual nugget issues.
I mean, historically, we've done that a bunch of times, and people just don't pick them up. It could also be because we don't really highlight them anywhere.
That was me trying to highlight them.
Yeah, but maybe not enough.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends. Sometimes people don't pick them up. That's how I got my start with the guy who was actually picking up those header image issues and all of that, because Pavlonex would share them in the channel and all that, and really make people aware of them. So I'm trying to imitate what he did with this, but it might not work.
Yeah, then
I figure I have to try.
How about we leave those? Because we're pretty hardcore into the guide, so how about we leave the good first issues to other people, and then we focus on other ones. So recommendations for abbreviations. This is something I think for sure. This is about abbreviating addresses, where the main thing really is that addresses start with certain prefixes, and then you need to consider that. But I think that's definitely something we can throw in there. So I'll add this one. Plural and singular satoshis. That also feels like something that just needs a bit of discussion and can be resolved. You okay with adding that one?
Yep.
Descriptor for printable backup template community file. That's a handful.
Yeah, I can get a discussion going about that one.
Okay. Updates to Lightning Services page. Bosch, this is yours. This is
I'll get to that. I was going to do that this week. That's just like some small things that like got some feedback from Roy and stuff like that. A few extra additions.
Resolve Lightning Network capitalization. Okay. I fully support. Okay, yeah, this is probably also something that just needs a little bit of conversation. Add Slack channel list to contribute page. I think, Mo, this is something that you came up with, which we used to have one on the contribute page, but then at some point, I think I went in and I realized that half of the channels have no activity and Slack was hiding the history, so I removed them.
Exactly.
Even stuff here, like if we add payments back in, that would just not be active. So do we want to do this or not?
Good question. Do we want to do that? Because the list is well up to date as of 2nd of August. Those are the inactive channels. Depends on you guys.
You know,
how about I just, we don't have to discuss now. I can just, sorry for interrupting. We don't have to talk about it now. I can just add it to milestone and done.
Mm-hmm.
But Stephen, please.
I was just going to say, if we're still seriously thinking about the Discord move, then that will change it, because you'll never have that problem again of the channel appearing dead because the history got hidden. Because it doesn't mean that channel just like has bad information, like isn't a good channel. It might just be that like they were working on a project, they're real active, and then they haven't touched it in a month, and then some other channel has been so busy that it's just completely sucked up all of the Slack channels messaging budget. So this whole problem of the channel links appearing dead might not be an issue on Discord. So.
Yep. So should we just leave it for now, or?
Yeah, sounds good.
We'll just leave it. By the way, do you have any? Can you think of any issues that they're in the backlog that you think would be good? You can also feel free to make suggestions here. Otherwise, I'll just go from top to bottom. You can also go backwards and start with the old stuff.
I have this one which I'd love some reviews.
I'm just opening another issue now. Just that conversation that Gene brought up about some landing page changes. I sent him a DM and I told him he should open an issue for it, but he didn't get around to it, so I might just open it and we can discuss that there. But I quite liked your suggestions on that.
Am I looking at? Oh, hold on. Where am I finding this link? Bosch, did you post it somewhere?
Oh no, I'm posting the issue now. I'm just writing it. I'm just copying what Gene said off Slack.
Yeah, I think I remember what he read. He was talking about adding more meat to the homepage and also changing how we address people. So highlighting more there are people in this community and here are the events going on, and just giving bits and pieces and previews of all the stuff that's going on, and also speaking more in to the reader instead of saying we are a community and potentially making it feel like it's fenced off, saying, do you want to contribute? Do you want to improve Bitcoin? What can you do? Changing all. So I think they're pretty good points. It seems to me like a longer process to get to that one.
Probably break it up maybe into a couple issues. Like there's a few different things we could probably address individually.
Yeah, but so it's definitely not something where a single person could just kind of hop in and just take care of it. it's not that type of thing.
Yeah, I like highlighting the newsletter a bit more and stuff like that on the homepage. I think that's important to do. Because I agree with what he said. I think that's like the newsletter is pretty important to keep track of, and like you have to kind of like dig around. It's only like a hyperlink and a bit of body text at the moment. It should be like a form or an input form or something on the landing page, just so it's easy to access or something like that. Even have it above the fold, like in the banner images area. And I'm sure we could play around, like have a few people do different design iterations, but.
Yep. Talking about design iterations, I'd like to add a banner for promoting the designathon to the homepage. Well, we need to come up with something for that. By the way, yeah. So for this milestone, I think it'd be good if we really just pick things that just require a little bit of discussion, or maybe one person to just make a few tweaks or so. I think that would be ideal. I think I don't have everything in my head, but I feel like there have been a bunch of general website design and content updates that have been adding up. Maybe we need to turn that into its own little project to kind of sort through all of those, design versions of them, think through all the copy and everything at once.
Yeah.
But that can also, someone can kick that off anyways. Oh God, there's an issue I opened on December 1, 2020.
Yeah. It's an old ass issue.
I don't know, seems like a bigger issue. I'd leave hands off of that one. Create BIP's bolts page in the how it works section. Create a page for on-chain wallet recovery, account scanning. I wonder if we have some content for that one somewhere.
Yeah, the BIP's bolt page, I need to get around to that. That'll just pretty much have like, BIPs at an application layer will have some user aspect to them, and just maybe have like a paragraph or less explaining what it is in really simple terms for designers, just like obviously be in how it works section, just kind of give some context as to what it is. This would be like sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. With BIPs, bolts, blips, and isn't there more stuff around now with Lightning also?
There's bowls. There's bowls as well.
Yeah. There's, your BIP for Bitcoin group grows a bolt, basis of Lightning technology. Blip is like Bitcoin Lightning improvement proposal or something. So the blips are, as I understand, sort of like non-Lightning consensus things. Like maybe consensus the wrong words, but it's not really stuff that's like super crucial to like two Lightning nodes actually running a payment channel between each other. And then there's the balls thing, but that's for like LSPs and stuff like that, like interoperable LSPs.
But they're making that web BTC now. It's supposedly it's gonna competes with WebLM, I think.
So if anyone not familiar with balls, it's balls.dev, which is amazing. It stands for balls Bitcoin and Lightning layer specification. So variously it abbreviates to balls. And it includes WebB. I thought I saw WebLN also on here. It's not, I don't know.
They do WebBTC.
Yeah.
I think they integrated a lot of WebLN stuff into WebBTC. So like it's supposed to be a better version of WebLN from what I know.
Okay. But it seems like a page just about standards that maybe doesn't have to explain all of them, but just say, hey, here, these standards, and those are super accepted, been around since the beginning of Bitcoin. These other ones are kind of new, and here's how you think about them. Something like that could be helpful for builders to kind of have a framework for these things.
Yeah.
If anyone feels like doing a content review, I've added a link in there for the case studies.
Yes.
To hop in on that. I think The guy who works with Johns, I think what do you call it? I think he's a copywriter. He kind of had a look through it already, but I'm
Yeah.
just curious.
So this is part of finally completely not forever, but wrapping up the Blixt sprint. So this is your final case study, and this would be the first case study page in the case studies section.
Yeah,
So you would like feedback on this one.
would love some feedback. Yeah, really appreciate it.
Yeah, I think that would be a great task to get that one live. You have to decide if you want this to be part of this milestone or not. Otherwise, you can just do it anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to, I can add it to this milestone, and then actually we should create a new issue for it. Something like add Blixt design sprint to new case study section or so.
Yeah, sounds
And then
good.
it would become a formal issue. But is it something that you think you'd like to have completed in the next 3 weeks?
I think so. I think in terms of what I'm working on, it would, as you say, it's like it feels more like a little thing, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, I think.
Mhm.
And I think I could still definitely help out with the designathon and just try to get that online. I think it should be fine. Yeah.
Okay, and then I assume you'll also like help. You specifically asked for help here with feedback, and then do you also want support once it's ready to add it to the site with the PR and everything?
Yeah, for sure. I would
Okay.
like to, yeah.
Okay.
I could give it a shot on my own in the beginning, maybe, and but yeah, I think I would like some help. Yeah.
Let me add a to-do here, and then create issue for Mo for adding mixed case study. And then I'm not going to do this right now. We can do it afterwards. It's a follow-up. Okay, and then we will add this to-do, add it to milestone 17. Okay. This one also seems super simple, this Glacier protocol. It's like just replacing this reference here with something else. That seems super easy.
I would add to that page maybe a point on like this whole collaborative custody stuff as well as an option. Because when I do the savings wallet reference design stuff, I would probably reference that page just as another option. Like you might want to list alongside those.
How about making that a separate issue? Because it seems like adding new content, not replacing it. Finance, proposed adding, what is it, the community custody solution?
Yeah, or collaborative custody.
Collaborative or community?
I'll say 30 minutes like community custody, I guess you would call it, and then collaborative custody is like Unchained Capital block, CASA, where you have like a co-signer that helps you with stuff, but they don't have custody. Whereas community is like, 30 minutes, which is custody.
Assisted custody. Okay, let's see, how are we doing with... crap. So this is what we have right now, 6 things. Do we want to throw some more stuff in or keep it light? Feel free to assign yourself to anything if you're in there.
Just keep it light.
Okay. Yeah, there's a discussion around prototypes and embedding them directly into the page, which goes back to the tracking and third-party scripts thing. I don't know if we can just close that one. or I don't know. Where are we now? March 30. Content around soft fork, create a banner image, banner image, banner image, banner image. What's a banner image? Subscriptions case study. It's big, 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 big. Merchants. Designing devices, signers discussion. That was very hot and hotly debated, and then it kind of died down. There was no real resolution. Should we bury that one until it comes back up? I know, Bosch, you're gonna you have strong thoughts on this one, and I
kind of just stood back and I kind of decided I'm just going to see I was kind of seeing what block and that were going to come out with their wallet and how they were going to name things. Like, because I guess with this kind of discussion, it's like I guess the market will kind of decide what terms end up being used the most. So us discussing it maybe isn't the most fruitful thing. Like, it's probably better to do what just the majority of apps do. I think for us, it's like for our guide, anyways. That's how I look at it, anyways. But yeah.
Okay. Do you? Well, I mean, just closing it, it's also kind of weird. Should we just say something? I don't know. When was the last comment here? May 13.
I think I reckon just close it, and then when I get to the savings wallet, like I'm sure as I make content for that, this will be discussed because it'll be related to that. So.
So it's okay, so I'm closing this for now due to lack of activity. This will come up again.
Yeah. Come up again at some point, I'm sure. But yeah. I'll still reference that conversation, but look at it. But yeah.
Bosch said in a jam session that he is likely going to consider this during his work. Upcoming work on the savings. Is that okay? Can I post that one? If you can read it, I don't know if it's.
Oh, sorry, it's cut off. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. Yeah, it's cut off.
Yeah, I mean, some stuff, just because it's here in the issues list, doesn't mean it actually matters or we should do anything about it. So I think we can also, especially that stuff, like this one thing I created a year and a half ago, it's probably totally irrelevant by now. I should just go ahead and delete some stuff. Add link to GitHub skills and propose a change. That seems like a really simple thing. It's just adding a link. I feel like that's easy to throw in. The color discussion is kind of painful.
I'll be getting back to that.
Yeah, I mean, the color one, I want to at some point just do a couple of mock-ups, share them, and just say here are 3 options. Have to have with a little bit of rationale, and then just kind of work through it that way. I think with just text. Oh, okay, awesome. Yeah, with just text, I mean, text can only take you so far with design discussions. Then at some point, it just needs to be practical. Wildcard here. Reference design for multi-sig and time lock. Okay. Add content route receiver paying network fee. Bosch, that's one of yours. Did you already address that in the receiving page?
No. I think it's a little bit hard with Lightning because the fees can vary and stuff like that. It's a bit easier to do on-chain because it's fixed. But addressing it for the savings wallet, like on-chain side of things, easy. Addressing it for the Lightning stuff, a little bit more complex, but still going to be done. I also think that maybe we should, that's probably something that would be more useful for the merchant section as well, because I feel like that's maybe when you would actually make use of that feature the most. like giving refunds, for example, or like maybe as a merchant you pay for the fee for the user instead of the user paying the fee, something like that.
And sorry, was this specific to Lightning or on-chain or both? I don't see it.
You could use it for both, yeah.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
Nunchuck's the only wallet I know that they just have like a toggle, like when you do a transaction and you just toggle it and it will just deduct the fee from the amount. So it just says like receiver pay fee.
Yeah, Core has a similar thing.
Oh, does it? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to tackle it or no? Just ignore it for now.
I'll just leave it there for now.
Okay. I mean, we have 2, 4, 6, 7 things in here for now. Really lightweight. Should we just leave it at that, and then each of us, if we want to, we can do more stuff that's been bugging us?
Yeah. I'll probably just do it, like I said earlier, just do like a general revision of the guide too. Just look over the pages and make sure we have a lot of cross-linking and stuff like that. Because I know like we've added a lot of pages, like how it works. And we haven't really gone through the other pages and like cross-linked them to those how it work pages and stuff like that. Just lots of little things.
Yeah, I also have the prototype stuff still going on, so I think it will keep me busy anyways. And the designathon. Since we have okay, cool. So we have 10 more minutes. What would you like to chat about?